Hello beamers, Sminstes here. Today with a base design, footprint on screen. We call this one the TRIOm. It's 3-sided, meant for 3 to 6 people. Also 3 different versions here you can spawn in. Starter unit, main version and the one without Floorstack. We're starting off this video with showing a few different raid angles. We can see the raid cost in the top right. We're starting off here with the corner. We are at 35 rockets. Then we're going in, showing here that this is pretty strong. You can't just splash it. "12 rockets, 13 rockets. Then we're going from the door side. We're blowing straight into one bunker, going for the next one. Then we're going up for the cheapest way possible and going down through. And we are landing at 60, 70, 71 rockets. Pretty solid for just the main loot. Shooting floor can't boost in. Then we go into the roof. You can't drain these turrets, not to my knowledge at least. Then we're trying to raid from the roof, even though it's pretty impossible to get there without a hellion HV rockets. We're blowing straight down, going for the first bunker. Then we're splashing into the second bunker. Then we need to find a way into the third one, through the core. We're hitting it. We're missing some of the other main loot rooms. We're landing up at 78 rockets. We haven't gotten these loot rooms or bedrooms. Now, into the base build. This is the version without a starter base. If you're then swapping over to what we're gonna show in this video, this is a part of how we're building the starter base. So let's get straight into that. Find a flat spot, you build 2 squares, disclaimer, do this in twig, and now it's time to do the floor stack. So what you wanna do is to stand on the foundations, crouch up and down. About halfway down, you will press the left click on your mouse. Then you're gonna walk with the D key to the right and then back with the A key as far as possible. Don't have it too low and don't have it too high. You wanna have it this height as shown right now. Let's do it from start. We're crouching up and down, pressing left click. Don't have it too low like this. You wanna have it further away like this. And now lift up your mouse in the air. Walk to the right, walk to the left and press again. If you have the mouse down in the mousepad, you're most likely gonna fuck it up a little bit. So just have it up in the air so you don't move it at all. This is now a perfect floor stack. We have the high height and we have the low height. From the low height, we're gonna continue building. We're gonna build 2 triangles, then we're doing a square on each side. From here, we're doing walls on the closest one and a ceiling together with a door frame. This is now the TC compartment for now. Then we can do a triangle here and we build it up like shown, and then we can add more box space in that square later on. We remove those 2 and leave the triangle foundation because that can be used. Before we upgrade this triangle out here, we need to build it away like this. Do a half moon to the right and a triangle, and then we remove everything except the last one, which we are gonna upgrade. You can also build this one away one further to have no issues if you wanna upgrade it to metal or high qual, if you don't wanna bother with it. Because if it's not decayed by the time you do the outer walls, then it might be in the way and you need to pickaxe it, which I will show further on in the video. And from this point on, we're just gonna build it like this and remove this one, because you might wanna place a refinery there later on. And these walls, we are doing them wood, because you most likely don't have the windows yet. So just do them wood, pickaxe them later and place the windows there for a good view of the airlock if you want that. Remember to do wooden ceiling up there too, for the ladder hatch. And if you now have the windows eventually, you can place them like so. Here we can do one more frame and we do a little airlock like this. Have in mind they can push through that if they are 2 people, so it's not the greatest airlock. This is now with filled in boxes and we can then place a few bags in this little starter unit. Eventually we get a workbench, you also get some furnaces. This is later gonna be used as a jump up. We want to place some more perhaps. Some use 1 furnace, some use 20 furnaces. You know, just place as many as you need here, right? Maybe. Then also you can remove one of these, place a repair bench or anything else. Depends what you need, obviously. This is just my idea of how you could use the stuff in it. When we found some more stone now, we go 1 floor up and we just build it in like shown here. I'm gonna place the wooden tile here on this socket instead. Now I'm doing a frame. I don't really know what I was thinking there, but you want to do a wooden tile there where the frame is. And then later on you can choose if you want to have a ladder hatch up for a 3rd entrance, or if you just want to seal it off later and have 2 entrances to the base instead and save some materials. It's all up to you how you would like to use that one. But for now, we're just marking it with metal so you can know that that is optional. The rest we're doing in stone like usual. Up here on this floor, we are gonna seal entire thing in. If you have metal, make sure you don't upgrade one of these walls. The wall behind the ladder hatch to the left, because that's later on gonna get pickaxed and used as a doorway into the core. But this is now sealed off entirely. Inside we can then put a wall here. We make a window here. That's later gonna be used for battery. And here's a single door frame. Now it's optional as well, if you want to have another window here, or if you want to have a wall. I usually just do honeycomb there. Here we can do another frame, and this one is gonna be another loot room. I usually do window loot rooms here to save some materials and upkeep, it's very nice. And now it might be time to do the external TC. We are building out 4 squares, putting on another, so 5, and then we do a triangle on each side. And then we rotate looking at the base and place a wall on the right hand side together with a window and then a half height ceiling. Left hand side we're doing the opposite, so you see here half height and a high height on the other side. In the middle, frame and then a single door, and you can seal this off already now as an airlock if you want. Later on it's gonna be 2 ceilings over here, but we won't do them just yet because then they will block the placements of our high walls. But if you wanna finish the airlock now, we do another square foundation and on the left hand side do 3 more triangles and then put windows in the corner. We're doing a wall and you can already now see that this is most likely gonna be the TC compartment. Yeah, you are absolutely right. We can upgrade it already to the final grades here, make it ready for the TC. Finish off with another little triangle here. We make windows everywhere except where the door airlock is gonna be. Seal off the ceilings of course, and that's pretty fast forward, but we're gonna go through it one more time as well. If you then have removed the TC, you can place another new TC here. So that's now our main TC. Unless you wanna remove one of those squares in between and place so you have 2 for the time being. Now if you remember this one, we're gonna build it back in as it looked like before. We do a half moon and we remove everything that can be removed. So we have these 2 left. From this we're gonna do 4 squares out and place a triangle. Remove all the squares and the last triangle. Go triangles all the way back as far as you can. And then remove the last one. Take away everything except the last one remaining and we build 4 squares out again. Triangle on the top. And then remove everything except the last one, and now we go triangles all the way back again. The last one can't be placed, so that's perfectly fine. We want to do it on this side though, so it's a square in between. It's just a little gap, so it's red, but that's exactly what we want. We want that gap. Remove all the triangles, and we now have this triangle left here, which we can build out like shown here. This is now one of the corners of the base. And now you can see also, it's blue here and it's red there because of this triangle. So if you have this issue that you maybe farm a lot very quick, or maybe you upgrade it to armor because you want to be safe, so it's not gonna decay for another 12 hours. Take this one, build it out a step further, yes, so it's not gonna be in the way, but if it's just stone, you can always pickaxe it if it's a few hundred HP or so. And now we go here and we build out another 8. Here we can also do the exact same way as we did previously, but I'm just showing you now that there's 2 different ways to do it and it's gonna be exactly the same. So either you go 4 out 2 times or you go 8 out 1 time. But if you go 8 out, you can't remove the foundations with the hammer because it's gonna be outside of your TC range. Here we build it like shown here. You see the bird's eye view here as well. We remove all the squids, we place it like shown here, and we now have the core. You just want to have in mind here though, that if anything is red here, like shown here, if this for example is red, then you fucked up the floor stack, and sorry my friend, you can't really do the floor stacked version. There's no save for it, but of course you have the unfloor stacked version here. It's just gonna be flat to the ground, you don't have to mind it too much. You see some floors here, it's just gonna be 1 ceiling there. Also here with the roof, it's easy to place, it works the same way kinda. There's less of gaps in between, but it's just 1 ceiling underneath the bunker and just 1 above. And you gotta have that in mind that it's gonna be weaker from certain angles, of course. Up here as well, only 2 ceilings. It's gonna look a little bit different. Here you have some gaps here and there. Not as nice. But if it's all good, you're gonna build this one out 4 as well. The same way again. Triangles out. Remove the last one. 4 out again. And a triangle. Also triangle in the end. Then we go in triangles all the way back again. Removing the last one. And here again we have this perfect gap. We can then seal off this one and make the last few. This is now the full section, so we can now complete it with the 3 squares and 2 triangles. And now we can also then build out this external TC. We are going 6 out. I'm speed building it now. Very hasty. Of course you maybe not want to have it in full metal, but for the sake of the video it's just gonna go faster and be more straight to the point, so you don't have to sit and wait too much. The last side now, we're doing the same, 8 out. Triangles back all the way, and we have this gap as well. So have in mind, maybe it's easier to go 8 out, but you have to smack those foundations manually. Same here, we're sealing it off exactly the same way. Now you can see where the main is, and maybe you want to have then the TC facing that way, because that's where you're gonna have the T3. For TC, we want to delete this TC, or maybe both of the TCs, and we want to place it here on the 2nd line in the metal foundation. Place a door. If you have an armored, that's perfect. Otherwise, sheet metal for now is fine. For a vending machine, if you have one, probably you don't have one already, but if you do have one, this is now how you're gonna place it. A vending machine is 11 rockets, it's gonna help a lot. And if you look in the bottom where the door frame is, you can see there's a line on the vending machine. You want that line to be centered on that doorstep. Now you can go to the right side and you can open it. You see the open, yes. And then you can close the door, open TC. One thing to have in mind though with this vending machine, if this wall here is on the left side, you're not gonna be able to. So you can do it scuffed like this, but then it's gonna be a gap and it's pretty useless. So if you want a good placement of that vending machine, you can't place the wall here on the left hand side. So just wait with that wall until you're finished. Now we can replace the external cupboard. So we got that. We can place the 2nd external cupboard. So now we have in total 3 TCs, and then we can do the last one, and together we are having 4 TCs, and we're looking somewhat like this. Now you can do a choice. Do you want metal and stuff for your base? Then probably you want to go for an external compound. Jump in the window here. look at the right hand side of that external TC over there and look what degrees it is. Take those degrees, be very smart, so you just use your head. Take it minus 90 degrees, and then you get the degrees you're gonna be looking at when you're placing the high walls. As shown, place 3. Go to the other side, place 2, looking at the same degrees. Then you build out these 2. If it is in line with the high walls, continue with another one on the right hand side. And now let's do it slow one more time. Take those degrees, minus 90 degrees. Look those degrees. Try to snap it in here to the left side as much as possible. We're placing 3, just walking sideways. Then we're going to the right hand side. We're doing the same thing, looking at the same degrees, trying to get it as far right as possible. Not too close towards the pod for the turret, and not too far out so it's gonna block the vision from the airlock. But try to get it as much to the right as possible. Walk to the left, place another, so we have 2 walls. Then we go in here, we place these 2 squares and make sure it's in line with the compound. If it is in line, it's gonna be perfect for our sectioning of the compound later. And then here, we're placing another one on the right hand side, and now you can see it's not gonna fit. To fix this, you can snap them with rotating your mouse a little bit right, a little bit left, a little bit forward. Just move your mouse in circle motions until it snaps into place like that. Otherwise, you get it perfect like this, and then it's looking way better. Now we're gonna build one more side. So it's almost identical to the first section, but hold with me. This wall, for example, don't upgrade that one. The foundation below is gonna be twig as well, of course, but just don't do it metal or stone yet, alright? The rest we can build up like normal. Up here, we're gonna have one thing different. Now it's the same as the other base, but hold up. This one is also gonna be removed, or never placed, even better, and make a frame there as well. Yeah. Down here, we're not gonna have starter unit, of course, we're just gonna honeycomb it all off, like shown here. Going up, we're doing another wall, and more walls, and even more walls. You know, it's gonna be a lot of honeycomb. Pog. Here we do a little drop off. Then we're doing doors up, and we're gonna have a ladder hatch up there as well. Up here, we're doing 2 door frames. That's gonna be the way in, and the rest we can seal off with normal walls. Here, we're gonna have a loot room, just as the study unit. Then we can do pretty much the same here. We're gonna do single door, seal off the corner, and of course a window frame here. This is now how it's looking on that floor. If we then go down, this is now how it looks on the second floor. We go one more step, it's getting smaller and smaller. We can seal everything off that we have the possibility to do. Just leave this one for a frame. So that's gonna be a way down. Now, maybe it's time to remove also this one on the starter unit. Then we make a little door here. That one was most likely pickaxed by you. Now we have 2 of these. So now we can choose if you wanna start building the core or if you're doing the third one. I would do the third one, so you have 3 bases basically. It's gonna be exactly the same way built as the last one. So just stay with me, we're speeding through it. And there we go. Lastly, in the starter base, we're gonna do some changes. Here you could choose if you wanted a third entrance or if you wanna seal it off. And this version I am doing now, I am sealing it all off. Here we are upgrading these 2 frames. Probably you don't have any loot any longer in these. So we seal them off with shop fronts because that's the only way we can do it. And then we can wall this off and do it metal because these you can't see later on. Here you can make a little drop off or you just make another shop front. It is optional for you, but this is a pretty nice drop of room. Down below you can have then the refinery. I don't know why there is a square here now, I did something wrong before. But that's the starter unit, you don't build a square there, and you can have the refinery there. Pretty perfect. If we go into the first parts of the starter base, where TC was, we'll do another shop front. I forgot to upgrade it to metal.frame, sorry about that. And then we fill it in with walls, and we do another shop front. And that frame, of course, should also be metal. So now it looks like this, a little bit funny, but that works almost as strong as well as normal metal walls. A little bit more expensive, but it is very good. Now, look here. This is what I mean. You need it to look like this now. Now you can place these squares here, and that is required to be able to do these windows here. And now here with the vending machine, if you have placed the vending machine, go ahead and place this wall. In this case we have, so now we can do this one. Otherwise, as I said, don't place that wall before the vending machine is up. This loot room is gonna just look like this. And now when we place that window there, we can then seal off these two last foundations and the walls, and it's pretty much finished on that corner of the base. The corner, just fill in every socket. Just like that. Then we go over to the other side. Same thing here. We don't have to think about the vending machine though, which is nice. Just do it the same way though. The reason for the walls to be that side is to cover the gaps mainly. Seal off the last corner now as well. Rotate the walls as I have shown here. Don't forget the middle piece. There we go. And then a last frame here. And here you can't make a window or a frame here, because that's the starter base, so you couldn't have removed that at any point. Now for the ceilings of the loot rooms, we want to place them on the inner socket, not the outer one. Do it all around. Don't seal off these, we don't need frames either. Maybe you want to seal them off in array defense, just leave them open, it's the best. Step 2 here is to do second floor. We're sealing it off in the corners, just like before. We don't have to put anything in between though, it's not necessary. You don't need those ceilings there. Now when those are sealed off, we can also do the top of them. Might be beneficial now for you to have a ladder to get in and out of these lower and higher sections. And then we can do walls all around like this. And in the middle, do 2 walls and 1 window. What side doesn't matter, just do on any side. Then you can place a vending machine, add a little bit of extra honeycomb with that, kinda. And up here on top, 3 frames around a triangle ceiling. Finish it off with a window on that vending machine, looks perfectly nice. One more floor, the 3rd floor now. We're doing another layer of walls. We're not gonna seal it off inside though with walls. We're just gonna seal it on top. And then we're coming with some double door frames. 3 on each corner. And now it's time to start with the bunkers almost. We can finish off the core. Right hand side we're doing the frames, and then on left hand side we're doing the walls, and then in the middle do a little ceiling, 3 walls around for some extra nice honeycomb. In the bunker we are doing somewhat like this. We're gonna do it one more time a bit slower so you can follow it along, but you see about the gaps and stuff now. We don't want the inner one, we want the side ones, and we're placing 1 frame and not a wall on the right hand side. And then we can go down there, place that wall. We wouldn't be able to do that otherwise. Main reason for it to be a frame and not a floor is just because of the roofs. You see there's two different sockets, and now also with the roofs, if you place it on wrong socket, it's not gonna close or open ever again, so to say. You need to make sure it's on the outer socket here. You see a gap on the inner side. We cover that up easily with the second layer. So now that's fully covered and it's still open. Then you want to remove the roof. There's never any need to upgrade it to anything more than twig. At this point you want to place these frames, and now also make sure you do it on the outer socket. And then on the right hand side we place one more. Then we can do the roof. You have two different sockets. The upper one won't do anything, the lower one will open it. And just remember to never upgrade those. One floor up, fourth floor, we're sealing it off like shown here. All around the same way. Come one layer in, and then we can do this. So these are gonna be our inner peaks and internal emergency respawn rooms. We can then seal them off. We can then seal off the outer triangles, and now we can also do the square ceilings. Do the double stack immediately. Here we can do it from above or from below. Depends a little bit on your floor stack, but if you did it kind of the same height as me, it doesn't really matter. But you just try on your design if you can place from below, above, or both. Then in the core, we finish it off with walls and ceilings everywhere possible. Then we take a way up through the base. We seal off the top. Remember to do the bottom layer. Sorry about that one. We do the bottom layer and then we do the top layer. So now we have a floor stack up there as well. Perfect. Now the base is sealed, and as you can see here, it's a gap. If they go 8 rockets, they can probably splash through that gap. But then again, if you place it on the inner side, if they then blow everything in the core, since it's triple bunker in the core, they're probably gonna remove the entire roof, so you want them on the outer side so it won't crumble in a raid. Okay? If we then go lower, we want to place these, then we can do the ceilings on those sockets and some ramps on top. And that's our hidden loot rooms slash peaks, extra roof honeycomb. You can name a few names for them, I guess. But in theory, it's now 4 ceilings to get inside to touch the bunker. But if you splash it really good, you can probably get it with 16 as well. Then we're sealing off these parts here, which are gonna be our shooting floor. We can also cover the gaps up. Do the last bit of roof stack up here. We do the lower part, but not the upper part. It's later gonna be a turret pod here, so we don't want those. Do it all the way around, 3 places. And now we can start working on the ways up. It's not gonna be ladder hatches here, it might look like so, but this is for stability purely. Here we can do a little place for a box, or you can place a locker there, it's optional. Maybe you prefer a locker, maybe you prefer a box, it's up to you. And then we do this triangle roof to get up. It's like a roof peak, so if you die while peeking the roof, you will fall down to the shooting floor. Here we are doing some sectioning of the shooting floor. Then we're doing these squares, 2 on each side. 4, 5, 6. And it's only 3 of these pods, so to say. So only 6 sheet metal doors. And now you can section off the shooting floor without having to risk to open one of the sides by mistake. Then we're sealing off the last parts. We're doing 2 windows, 1 low wall and another window. From inside it looks like this. Look down, place that easy as well. Then we can just jump up here, and now we're gonna do the entry points just after we do the roof. Speeding this up, just find the correct sockets and you'll be very fine here. Then now the ways up. And now for the freehand stacking. This is the most fun part of the build, guys. This works with the same principle as the floor stacking, and there's a guide linked below how to freehand, so you can practice there. And this you can rotate to different gap widths here as well. So don't place them too close to each other. Don't place them too wide because then the gap is too big. And the whole point with it is, you see, it's connecting to that wall on the side. So that's how you now can freehand. It doesn't have to be perfect placements or anything like that. You can just freehand it however you want it. So you can build all kind of crazy bases with this. And for this one, I'm doing honeycomb that you otherwise couldn't do. So place yourself so you look down in the middle of this triangle behind you. Look forward, and then you walk to the right with the triangle foundation in your hand. Drag it towards you and try to connect the corners of those triangles. If you've successfully made it, it's gonna look something like this. You then build these up, and this is the reason we haven't done them yet, because you have to build these up and make sure they work. As we can see there, that one didn't work, so then we have to remove that side and build it again. Building it up one more time. Laddering up to make sure we can fit the last part. It doesn't work for this one either, so then we have to remove it all again, right? So now we line up behind us in the middle. We then connect it like so. And this is just trial and error, trial and error. Now that one fits, perfect. Let's see if these fit. We need to rotate them the right way, so we also close that gap. And it fits, because it's blue. Then we can do this, and on top of those, we place the roofs. Remove the ladders, pick them up, obviously, I guess. Then we just do the same on the other side. This one is red. Reason is because of the embrasure. So we have to pick up the embrasure. Then we can place it, and there we can then replace the embrasures, and we have it. So that's our peak downs and gaps. In the middle, you can place this one. Now you have a small gap there instead of big gap. Might be of your blessing. On the roof then, we can seal off these parts here. And we also want 3 pods for respawns. I build them like this. Then I place a locker, a bed and a small box in them, and you have those as quick respawns if you're getting raided. And you can't put a floor stack there, and it doesn't really matter there either way. Do a roof on the opposite side, and 2 of those. Or you maybe want to remove them, so you can shoot heli from under here. It's optional. Place the last roofs and windows. Then we put on the embrasures and the other windows. We're doing the turret pods. The reason for us not doing this is because turret doesn't fit. Now it fits, but then you can't do above it, so they can shoot rockets at it very easy. So place them like this, and the ceiling above it, and now it's a little bit harder for people to shoot them out. Then where are they getting power from? Well, look here. These are the little rooms for the batteries. Then we zoom out in the compound, and here we are building it 2 foundations out, putting on these lovely double door frames. Then we need the gates. We have a prison cell gate. and a prison cell wall. On top of that, they can of course jump over. So we're doing some ceilings here, and then we are placing barricades. And now be sure that you place it in the middle. You see, the middle of the barricade is in the middle of that line. Then you can remove it and it will stick there. You do the same here. If you have a crosshair, it's perfect to see the lineup. Otherwise, you gotta kind of gamble it or get the feeling for it. So you place it in the middle, and then you can remove ceilings, and there you have it. Now they can't jump over it, and it's properly sectioned off. For the turret pods, we're placing them like shown here. And then we do ceilings on top. Just do them in twig, of course. On top of this, you can now place the barricades. Since we couldn't place that last triangle there, we just have to make sure we place the barricade a little bit to the right, so it doesn't collapse like this. Get it a little bit more to the right, and it will stick. This one, just fit it like shown here. And this one a little bit to the left, so it doesn't collapse when you remove the twig tiles. Okay? For the inner core, we place turrets here as well. Now, the whole point with these turrets are that people will perhaps raid you from doors, and they will come up through here. They will rocket these doors together, or shoot them out with explode, whatever they're doing. They will stand here, or maybe in front, and then shoot over there, and then the turret will start shooting them, and they probably die, at least the first 1-2 guys. For the internal inner peaks, you can change them up a bit. If you remove this stuff, and then you build it up like shown here, then you place these ramps, remove the first ceiling, the lower ceiling, so to say, and the half wall. It will stick there. Now you just have to have in mind that we need to swap these out, because otherwise we can't get in and out. But this might be your preference. It's not as strong from top anymore, but it is maybe a better peak down. So if you have a strong roof defense, maybe this is something you want to prefer. Next video is going to be about electricity, a lot about how the new meta is. Stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching. See ya.
I think it's the way life changes when in love, yeah. I surround